All right, we are 6-0 in our last 6 Major League Baseball tier package bets on Pt.2. And the link for today's Major League Baseball tier package bet is in the description section below. $1,000 bettors made over $5,400 during that span alone. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 NBA tier package bets on that very same website as well. And the link for that play is also in the description section below. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets at Brockpage.com. And if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to Brockpage.com. My record's located right there on the home page. Now, I currently have over 895 members who are signed up and active on that website right now. With that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Rockies taking on the Phillies, 1:05 Eastern first pitch on Thursday, April 28th, 2022. Now, Philadelphia is the $2 favorite with the total at 7.5. Zach Wheeler for the Fightins, Austin Gomer for Colorado. Now, Gomer's had some problems allowing runs. He comes into today's ball game with an ERA of 4.20. Meanwhile, offensively, the bats have kind of gone cold when the Rockies travel. These guys are currently in the bottom 10 in the majors in road scoring. They're taking on a Phillies team on the other side of things who won 5 out of their last 7 themselves, with 3 of those victories coming against Colorado in this very series. As a matter of fact, the Fightins have racked up 25 total runs through 3 games in this homestand against Colorado. Now, Nick Castellanos, he's batting .329 with 3 homers and 11 RBI. Meanwhile, JT Realmuto's batting .303, and he scored a dozen times already. And no real surprise here. The Phils are amongst the best in the National League right now in OPS at the plate. Now, total-wise, all 3 of this series contests got over the posted number. As a matter of fact, the Phillies are averaging nearly 6 runs per contest in their last 10 meetings with Colorado. Meanwhile, the Rockies, on the other side of things, they saw 5 out of their last 8 on the road get over the posted total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia -1.5 in the over 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be, it's not. Next game, it is going to be Marlins taking on the Nationals. 1:05 Eastern start time. Miami's -150, totals 8 runs. Trevor Rogers for Miami, Patrick Corbin for Washington. Now, Corbin's off to a terrible start. He's got an 0-3 record, 11.20 ERA. And Washington has won just 3 out of 13 at Nationals Park this season. And they're also amongst the bottom 10 in home scoring offensively. They're taking on a Miami squad who won their last 4 straight themselves, and they vastly improved hitting the baseball. As a matter of fact, the Fish are currently in the top 10 in the majors right now in team batting average. Jazz Chisholm's off to a real hot start for Miami, 4 home runs and 15 RBI for the second baseman. Meanwhile, Joey Wendell, he continues to do what Joey Wendell does, and that is get on base. Joey Wendell's going to Joey Wendell. He's batting .333 with 25 total bases this year. Now, total-wise, Miami's averaging nearly 5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Washington. They also went 60% to the over in those very contests I just mentioned. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to lean toward Miami -150 in the over 8 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Tigers taking on the Twins, 1:10 p.m. East. Minnesota's -135, total 7 runs. Bailey Ober for Minnesota, Tark Skubal for Detroit. And even though Scoobs is off to a real nice start, the Tigers have had significant problems putting runners across the plate. They're averaging only 3.6 runs per contest, and they're also in the bottom 3 in the majors in home runs per game. They're taking on a Minnesota pitching staff who's done a real nice job slowing down their opponents. These guys are allowing only 3.6 runs a game themselves. And they've got Bailey Ober on the mound here today, who's got a 2.81 ERA and a 1.09 whip. And when it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of Minnesota's last 11 at Target Field fell under the posted number. The Twins are officially 67% to the under for the entire season at any location. Meanwhile, Detroit saw 4 out of their last 5 while traveling fall under the posted total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota minus $1.35 and the under 7 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Mariners taking on the Rays, 1:10 p.m. East. Tampa Bay's minus $1.40, total 7.5. Jeffrey Springs for Tampa Bay, Chris Flexen for Seattle. Now, Flexen's shown some pretty good stuff this year despite his current record. He's got a 3.63 ERA and a whip of just 1.15. Meanwhile, offensively, the Mariners sure do like to hit the baseball. They're currently in the top 10 in the majors in home runs, top 5 in OPS. Now, Ty France, he's second in the bigs in RBI, and he also has hit 5 home runs. Meanwhile, J.P. Crawford, he's batting .349 with an OPS of 1.042. And when it comes to free passes, nobody walks more times a game at the plate than Seattle. They're taking on a Tampa pitching staff who actually struggles with walks at home. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the bigs in walks per 9 in front of their home fans. Now, this Rays pitching staff also has problems with giving up runs, simply put. They're actually amongst the worst in the American League right now in runs allowed per game. Now, total-wise, Tampa's allowing just about 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Mariners. Meanwhile, Seattle saw 4 out of their last 6 outings this season get over the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards Seattle plus 1.5 and the over 7.5. Next contest, it is going to be Astros taking on the Rangers, 2:05 Eastern first pitch. Houston's minus $1.60, totals 8 runs. Justin Verlander for the Stros, Martin Perez for Texas. Now, Perez is off to a lackluster start this year. 0-2 record for the lefty, along with a 1.36 whip. And really, guys, this Texas pitching staff has cost these guys a lot of ball games already. The Rangers have gotten the W in only 2 out of 9 ball games at Globe Life Field. They're taking on a Houston club who won 3 out of their last 4 themselves. And they actually, they've had some pretty good pitching on the road this year. These guys currently find themselves in the top 5 in road strikeouts. They're also in the top 3 in fewest walks allowed while traveling. Very good control when it comes to this Houston pitching staff. And of course, Justin Verlander, he struck out 20 batters already and has a whip of just .74. Now, when it comes to the total, Houston's averaging nearly 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Rangers. They also went 60% to the over in those very contests I just mentioned. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Meanwhile, Texas on the other side, they saw 5 out of their last 9 in their own stadium get over the line. I'm going to lean toward Houston minus $1.60 in the over 8 runs. Next contest, it is going to be Royals taking on the White Sox, 2:10 p.m. East. Chicago's minus 170, total 7. Michael Kopech for Chicago, Brad Keller for Kansas City. And even though his record doesn't indicate it, Brad Keller's actually put up some pretty good numbers to start the season. The righty comes into today's game with a 2.55 ERA and a .91 whip. Meanwhile, offensively, as much as these guys have struggled, they do somehow rank in the top 10 in hits per contest on the road. Now, Andrew Benintendi, he's batting .379 with 27 total bases. Meanwhile, Salvi Perez, he's hit 5 home runs, and he also scored 9 times already. Now, they're taking on a Chicago team who's struggled at the plate themselves. These guys are currently in the bottom 10 in the league right now in team batting average, and they're also scoring only 3.4 runs a game. And when it comes to cashing in on the run line, well, The White Sox are just 2-6 against the number at Guaranteed Rate Field. Now, total-wise, 5 out of the White Sox last 8 home games did fall under the posted number. Meanwhile, Kansas City's 10-6 to the under for the entire season themselves. I'm going to lean toward KC plus 1.5 and the under 7 runs. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays, 3:07 Eastern first pitch. Now, Toronto's minus 150 with the total at 8. Alek Manoah for Toronto, Garrett Whitlock for Boston. Now, the Blue Sox have lost 7 out of their last 10, and they're struggling to put runners across the plate. Boston's averaging only 3.6 runs a game this year. They're also in the bottom 5 in homers per 9. Now, they're taking on a Toronto team on the other side of things who's actually hitting more home runs per contest than any other team in the bigs right now. Vlad Guerrero's got 5 homers on the year, 309 batting average, and 13 RBIs for Vladdy. Meanwhile, George Springer, he's got 4 home runs, and he also leads the team in runs scored. When it comes to the pitching in this one, Alek Manoah is off to a real hot start. 3-0 record right now and a 1.00 whip. The righty's also struck out 18 batters and has an ERA of 2 flat. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Boston plus 1.5 in the over 8 runs. All right, next ball game I have for you, it is going to be the Guardians taking on the Angels. And that's going to be a 4:07 Eastern start time. Now, the Los Angeles Angels are minus 155 with the total at 8.5 runs. Reed Detmer is probable for Los Angeles. Cal Quantrill is expected for Cleveland. Now, guys, when it comes to this game here, the bad news is I can't give you a free pick on this game because I'm featuring it on my website here today. But the good news is this game is being featured as my MLB tier package bet on Pt.2. And we're currently 6-0 in our last 6 bets in that package. So if you want to see whether I'm betting on a team to win the game or cover the run line, or if I'm betting on the total in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my Major League Baseball tier package bet on Pt.2. And the link for that play is in the description section below. Now, one more thing to add here, guys. One more reminder about that package. If you sign up today for my MLB tier, as an added bonus, you're actually going to get access to all my cheaper memberships that I offer on that website absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase here today, and you're going to get access to those memberships every single day all the way through the end of April. It's essentially the gift that keeps on giving. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Cubbies taking on the Braves, 7:20 p.m. East. Now, Atlanta's the $1.85 favorite with the total at 8.5 runs. Kyle Wright for Atlanta, Drew Smyly for Chicago. Now, Smiley's done a nice job keeping runners off the bases. He's got a 2.45 ERA right now, along with a 1.02 whip. Meanwhile, offensively, the Cubbies have been pounding the baseball this year. They're actually leading the bigs right now in batting average and OPS. Now, Seiya Suzuki, he's got 4 home runs along with an OPS of 1.090. Meanwhile, Ian Happ's batting .340 with a couple of homers and double-digit walks. Now, they're taking on an Atlanta team on the other side of things who's actually lost 6 out of their last 9. And they also have themselves a losing record at home. And even though this Braves lineup can potentially be very dangerous, they are amongst the worst in the National League right now in strikeouts at the plate at home. So they can be dangerous, but they do fan an awful lot, especially in front of their home crowd here. Now, total-wise, Atlanta's 8-4 to the over at Truist Park. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with Chicago. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. I'm going to lean toward the Cubbies, plus 1.5, keeping this one close. And the over 8.5 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final free pick for the video. It is going to be Diamondbacks taking on the Cardinals, 7:45 Eastern first pitch. Now, St. Louis is minus 180 with the total at 7.5 runs. Dakota Hudson for St. Louis. Humberto Castellanos for Arizona. Now, the D-backs currently have a losing record on the road, and they've struggled hitting the baseball while traveling. Arizona's currently in the bottom 5 in road scoring, and they're also in the bottom 5 in road hits. They're also amongst the worst in the National League in strikeouts at the plate. They're taking on Dakota Hudson here today, who's had a pretty nice start to the season here. He's got himself a 3.95 ERA and a 1.17 WHIP. Pretty respectable numbers there. Now, the St. Louis pitching staff's also done a pretty nice job keeping the ball inside the park. They're currently in the top 3 in the bigs and fewest homers allowed per 9. Now, total-wise, the Cards saw 8 out of their last 9 ball games fall short of 7.5 runs. Meanwhile, Arizona saw 5 out of their last 7 on the road fall under the posted total themselves. And as a matter of fact, Arizona's gone 79% to the under for the entire season at any location. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis minus $1.80 and the under 7.5 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my website at Pt.2, where we are 6-0 in our last 6 Major League Baseball tier package bets. I like Philadelphia minus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. Give me Miami minus $1.50 over 8. I like Minnesota minus 135 under 7 runs. Give me Seattle plus 1.5 over 7.5. I like Houston minus 160 over 8 runs. Kansas City plus 1.5 under 7. I'm also leaning toward the Boston Red Sox plus 1.5 over 8 runs. Now, guys, for the Guardians-Angels game, unfortunately, I can't give you a free pick for that one because that game is being featured as my Major League Baseball tier package bet on BrockPage.com here today. But moving on, I also like the Cubbies plus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder here, guys, that we are also hitting at 3-0 in our last 3 NBA tier package bets on BrockPage.com. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis minus $1.80 and the under 7.5. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that website, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.